And I'm like, all right, was this used in a crime? Like, did they go steal something from somebody's storage unit? Was it their storage unit? Like, there's so many questions I have. What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti here at Gotham Dream Cars. And if you needed reminders to always be on your toes in business, I've got two that just came in today. And one of them, actually, they're both right behind me. This is the Audi R8. Customer just took the car, and we got a phone call. And we ended up running late because of some traffic on the Cross Bronx. So we're getting there like 20 minutes after we were supposed to get there up in Boston. Call the customer and say, hey, just let you know. He calls back a couple hours later. Hey, car's great and everything like that. When I was taking delivery of the car, I didn't notice there's some damage on the wheel. Can you just, and I sensed a little concern. And I'm like, you know what? Don't worry, sir. Our policies are great so that if there was damage there, we take photos before and after. If I can't prove to you with photos that you damaged the car, then we don't charge you. So the guy's essentially saying like, hey, I just got the car a little while ago. I missed the fact that there was damage on it. I just noticed it now. I'm letting you know. Then after that, he's like, after I said like, we're only going to charge you if we can prove you damage. He's like, oh, how much is it to repair yep, exactly. He ended up damaging the wheel. So you can see here, he just backed into the curb, and it's not a big deal, but it does highlight how policies in place. Otherwise, it becomes a he said, she said that maybe the transporter damaged it. Maybe the delivery guy delivered it to him damaged and just didn't mark it down on the contract. This is why at the point of delivery, we take photos around the cars both ways when we drop it off and we pick it up so that they can see and conclusively, like, dude, this is your foot in the background. This is your driveway. It wasn't damaged when it got dropped off. It was damaged when it came back. So you may hear outside, we got the remnants of whatever tropical storm, hurricane. The other concerning thing, and this is just me having my guard up, the G-Wagon just went out, came back after a one-day rental, right? And it came back with, as they were cleaning it, they came up with this. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's clearly a lock that has been like literally cut off, right? Like it's a Storage Wars sort of style, right? You know, let's cut our way into this thing. But these people came up, and it's weird to me because the email address was a flag, right? I, for some reason, have had terrible luck with people from Atlanta, right? Like, I see so much fraud that comes to New York out of Atlanta, or people with Georgia licenses, anything like that always is a red flag to me. It's where I've had tons of fraud or a lot of attempted fraud, but actual like chargebacks on fraudulent credit cards. Turns out that they also rented fraudulent Airbnbs. The one where I sent 2 cars down to the Super Bowl, guy took me for like $12,000 or $14,000. That sucked. But my guard is always up with that. So when somebody was coming in with an Atlanta license for a one-day rental, calling through the Gansevoort Hotel in the city, I'm like, all right, let me just make sure. Email address was, I'm going to give you a fake one, but it was janedoe69@gmail.com. And I'm like, all right, 69 clearly is a popular number, but that makes me have to go Google that and see what's going on. Nothing came up under janedoe69 on a Google search. And then I also looked, and I was like, all right, her phone number, I looked up her phone number, came up to a woman in Duluth, Georgia. Someone insert Buford, Duluth, insert somewhere else. That's a 78-year-old woman who's clearly not this person. So I was like, all right, that's not unheard of, right? You may be on your parents' cell phone account and everything like that. I was on edge. I was like, you know what? This is probably fraud. I'll probably turn it down. It's a one-day rental. It's only $700 or something like that. Not worth doing. Then I looked at her license, and her license said that she was born in 1969. I'm like, all right, that makes a little bit more sense, right? Now, generally, fraud is not committed by whatever 60-year-old women out of Georgia, so we went ahead and did the rental. We verified the insurance, we did that. And when we were getting the car back, it was just a lot of like concerning behavior, right? Like, hey, just did the credit card go through? Because we were having a problem with the credit card that it just got turned off or something like that. So I just want to make the charge went through. So I'm like sort of expecting a chargeback on this. But as we were cleaning it, we came up with this lock. And I was like, all right, like I'm all for like people like having to do what they got to do to get their stuff out, right? But I'm unclear as to whether this car was used as part of an auction, as like, why did they just fly up from Georgia, rent the car, went back to the GPS, they just drove it out to a storage unit in Long Island. They took stuff out of the storage unit, went somewhere else and went back to the city and then had to rush out of there for whatever reason. And I'm like, all right, was this used in a crime? Like did they go steal something from somebody's storage unit? Was it their storage unit? Like there's so many questions I have. And if it's used in a crime, this is now evidence, then we have to fill out a report with whoever. So I went back to the GPS, I looked up which storage unit they went to, I called the storage unit to see if there was any suspicious activity or anything that my car was used in the commission of a crime. They said everything looks on the up and up, but they'll call me back if that changes. So right now, I don't know why they cut this lock off. I don't know if it's their lock. I don't know if this sticker means that they didn't pay their storage, so they cut off the lock that was put on to keep them out. I don't know any of it. But at this time, we're good. Car came back without any over mileage, without any additional charges. I'm semi-nervous that that one's going to be a chargeback. It was just it was way too much like, you know, you get the bad energy from an interaction. This one, according to Shivam, who was the one who delivered this, had some bad energy around it, just weird energy, not bad and like unsafe or anything like that. It just felt off. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see if we can unlock the mystery behind this story. It might be nothing, right? It may just be me having my guard up because I'm used to it. That transaction may be perfectly fine forever, but we may get a chargeback, and we may have to try to figure this one out. Stay tuned. Rob Ferretti reminding you, when you're in business, keep your guard up. Make sure your policies cover you, because, you know, like, I don't know if this has anything to do with anything. It's just something I saw, which is unusual. This is the first cut lock that we've had, and if somebody cuts a lock, you'd think they throw it in the garbage or something like that. We'll find out. Stay tuned, and also thank you for watching. And as I said, keep an eye on your businesses. Make sure your processes and procedures are there to cover you and eliminate as much fraud and potential people putting one over on you as best you can, because that's how you keep money in your pocket, and instead of arguing with people and losing money, which is much less fun than just making sure you're treating everyone fairly and running a nice business. Thanks for watching. See you next time.